I want you to help me pick some fantasy books for me to read. So we're at a point where we're halfway through the year. I've read most of the books on my reading list, or at least my reading challenge. So I want to fill it with a few more books that are just going to be fun, enjoyable reads. And to do that, I want to read some more fantasy books. Some criteria. I would like suggestions of fantasy books that are mostly by BAME authors, or BIPOC, I guess would be the right word, that they use in the US, I think. So, you know, non-white authors is what I'm trying to say. I like fantasy that has dragons in it.
A dragon! A dragon!
Big fan of dragons. Since I was a kid. There was this... I don't know if they had a dragon version of it, but if they did, I had the book. It was called, like, those Egyptology books. I don't know if there was a dragon version. There might have been. I can just Google it after this, but, you know, maybe you can tell me in the description. But I really like dragons. So if you can get me a book series or a book, just one book, that, you know, has dragons, is by a minority author. If it could be by a Palestinian author, that would be great, because I do want to get back to reading more books about and from Palestine. It's been a while since I have, so admittedly I do want to get back onto that. So those would be like my main 3 criteria, that third one less so, but those 2 are the main criteria. Also probably, like, for my age range, I don't like reading YA stuff. I stopped doing that when I was no longer YA. And it's because I think I just kept reading books for an older audience, and I just stopped. So yeah, I would like some suggestions from you. Now, to pad this video a little bit, but to also, you know, make it easier for you guys to not suggest stuff to me that I've already read. I have read or own most of the Tolkien books.
Now taking the hobbits to Isengard!
Almost everything Tolkien I have read, so you don't need to suggest those. I own Earthsea. That was given to me as a gift from a previous job manager when I left. He gave me this, which was quite nice, so I should actually read this, because it's been like 2.5 years and it's just sat on my shelf. So you don't need to suggest Earthsea to me. I've read the Temeraire books.
The Temeraire!
Which has dragons, is like sort of, it's like historical fantasy, I suppose. They had dragons during the Napoleonic Wars. Really loved like the first 3/4 of the books, and then I think just I caught up to the books being released, and so it took a long time for the books to come out, and so I was like, oh, I lost interest. But I finished the books. I finished all of them, but I just kind of started to lose interest in them, unfortunately. I'm currently reading Eldest, which is the second book in the Inheritance cycle.
Dragon!
I read Eragon when I was a kid, and then I never read Eldest. So I was like, okay, for some light reading, I'll read Eldest. I'm maybe 1/4 of the way through the book, maybe less. Probably less than 1/4 of the way through the book. It's fine. It's decent. I do know people have mixed feelings about Paolini's writing. Some people are like, oh, it's just when he was 19 and he just got a book released, but I don't know. I'm still reserving judgment because I'm still very early on into that second book. So yeah, I'm reading that. No need to suggest that. What else have I read? I read Wolf Brother.
Wolf!
As a kid, really loved those books. But yeah, ever since I read Harry Potter.
Harry, you put your name in a goblet of fire.
Obviously, but I don't want to read anything by that woman, J.K. Rowling. A curse upon her house. Yeah, I think I read Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson's awake.
As a kid, again, not super interested in anything super Percy Jackson at the moment. I think I got my fill from Percy Jackson as a young adult kid, so I don't... Something more like for grown-ups. There was one book series, it was like a really old book that a colleague recommended to me. It was like this big, and I bought it, but I never read it, and I can't remember the name of the books. I gave it to someone because they were like, I want to read some fantasy books. I'm like, this is one that I made earlier, and I can't remember the books. If I could do, I'll put a picture here. So, you know, if you recommend that, I'll read that. But yeah, I would like fantasy recommendations. And I decided, why don't I make a YouTube video about it, asking you to give me fantasy book recommendations in the comment section down below. Because why would I do research myself when I can ask people to do it for me? But yes, if you have any fantasy book recommendations based off the ones that I've mentioned and also dragons, let me know. You know what? Space dragons.
Play some space dragons?
If there's like a space dragons book, that's got me all over it. So thank you for watching. This was a very weird Wednesday upload. Remember to like, subscribe, share the video with a friend or family member. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section down below. And I hope you read a great book today.